Welcome to my lupus living room. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm excited to come to you and talk and share. And it's been a robust day today. And I have a repeat visitor here. We had a hiccup a while ago when we did this. So we've asked Steve to come back. And we're going to talk about his survival living with a fellow Lupian. All right. And I'm going to butcher your last name, but it is Steve Perhach. Perhach. Okay, I am corrected. Thank you, Steve. And he is the wonderful husband of Kelly. And Kelly and Steve last year were very, very involved and enthused at the walk here in Cleveland. And they raised a great team, a lot of money, and are very passionate about supporting the LFA. And this year he did a project he'll share with you. But I think it's important and interesting to talk to fellow Lupians' spouses. All right. Because that in itself is a different journey. So, Steve, welcome to my lupus living room. Thank you for coming back. I'm sorry about we had a previous glitch because my wingman didn't hit the start button. That's a reality check.
I was rushed.
He was rushed. Okay. Tell us about your journey. You know, this is new for you too. Spouse is impacted.
It's about 4 years in, and it initially was a lot of confusion, a lot of trying to figure out what's going to happen, and not just for her, but learning for myself what we were going to be dealing with. And through it, she found you guys, and that made it easier on her because you've done a lot for her, and I know she's come and helped as well. And like any relationship, nobody's perfect. And learning where new limitations might be was the biggest thing, because there is the getting tired or pain or sick or trying to not get sick that became that much more important after we found out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, being patient with each other, you know, it goes both ways, but, you know, being patient and understanding that, you know, and just being there for each other.
So she was diagnosed about 4 years ago.
Almost 5.
Almost 5 years now. Okay. And do you have a family? How long have you been together for?
We've been together for 25 years.
A lifetime. Been together a lifetime. Okay. So, you know, we have a new her, yep, which ultimately gives you guys a new us.
Well, in most ways, but there was always, before we found this out, a lot of things, like even before we met, that she had told me made sense. Because she always told me she got sick easy. Even when we were together, when she did get sick, she would be sick longer.
Mm-hmm.
She always would get bruises easy, which over the course of the last couple of years, we found are things that are associated with lupus that we didn't know, obviously. And, you know, we found out through the course of it that also, too, it's probably been in her whole life. And just for whatever reason, it became an issue when her doctor said, hey, go get checked out for this.
Yeah, so that there's a lot of truth to all of that. So usually when people are diagnosed, they're thinking this is something that just happened. When reality is it could have taken a very long time, yeah, or the symptoms mimic so many other things that you may have been brushed off, or maybe a lot of them didn't happen all at one time to bring you to the attention to get further testing. So, you know, typically a lupus patient, it could take years to get a diagnosis. In her case, she got diagnosed quickly.
Yeah, it was probably 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, that is very quick, because it could be 6 to 3 years, you know, somewhere in there.
It was good on our general practice doctor, family doctor, that he was the one that said, you know, I'm going to send you for this blood test just to see, because some of these things look like
are questionable. Okay. So, you know, again, you know, you may have some of the criteria for lupus, and, you know, you can go on our website and there's if you have 4 out of the 11 criteria, you might want to take that information to your family practitioner and share with them and see if you can do some further testing to be on the lookout. If you catch it early, it's so much better. So much better. So, all right. So your journey is, we have a chronic disease. We're into this for a long haul here. Yeah. You both have your life set out for you. Were there any drastic changes that you have to make, or did you take a long time to find the right physician?
Well, we got lucky with a doctor. I don't remember exactly how, but I think she was suggested by our regular doctor, and she's been really good. The hardest part has been finding the right combination of what works to help symptoms. Mm-hmm. Because, like anything else, what works for somebody won't necessarily work for everybody. Just like when you get sick, I get sick different than you get sick. Mm-hmm. And it's the same kind of concept where we had this probably year plus or more of trying different drugs, trying different pills, trying, different things to help lessen the symptoms, to make it more bearable, and dealing with, possible allergies to medications, and finding that right thing that keeps her in a good place, but also, isn't too strong to where it's causing other issues. Mm-hmm. And, that they said that was very time consuming. And in the middle of it, we found out that she has a second form, and she'd kill me if she was here because I can't remember it. But she was getting blotches on her skin and scabs and other issues, and I can't remember the name.
So it's probably discoid. So it's of the skin.
Well, it's another form of lupus.
That's right.
And in through all that, the thinking originally was it was a reaction to a medication she was allergic to. Mm-hmm. So we stopped everything to see what it was, and it didn't go away. Ended up finding out that it was this other form of lupus, and then we had to go back and slowly get back into all the medications to get everything back to where it was before we stopped. And that was rough too. And now for going on 3 years, with a lot of the pain and exhaustion and other things, she's been at home. We made that decision together that, I couldn't see her go through that and come home tired and just worn out. And, even if it's not permanent, for right now, it's where we need to be and what she needs to do for herself.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're figuring this all out. I have to tell you, though, you're an exceptional husband. Okay. Not because you're just sitting in front of me. The fact that she has the support and the understanding from you is priceless. Well, okay.
And that's all it is. And that's with anything. I mean, it's, when married, not married, whatever the case may be, with somebody for a long time, it's just, you have to understand just in general and be there for the person you choose to be there for. Whether it's easy, hard, doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think half the battle is, even as I sit here before you, and of course, I have lupus, and so does my audience. I don't look sick.
Yeah. And that's the hard part too.
I don't look sick. Okay. So when people look at me, they go, oh, she's not sick. And I think that's the problem. A huge problem we have at the LFA here is that our audience gets that a lot from people but you don't look sick. Okay, I may not look sick, but you don't know the havoc that's going on inside my body. And I wear a good mask. Okay, and a lot of us wear a good mask.
When we were going through, when she had the spot, it was the same thing. Then it was like, oh my God, what is it? Mm-hmm. What is that? What is that? And, and she's never been shy to tell people what
mm-hmm.
I mean, she owns it.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
She's doing better than I did. I don't really walk around and tell people I have lupus. If it comes up in a conversation or depending on what hat I'm wearing at that time, you would think I'm a walking billboard for it, but I'm not. Okay.
She doesn't go out and just tell people. Mm-hmm. What if somebody asks? She's not shy about it.
Yeah. My brother goes around. Yeah.
She doesn't get that but she doesn't get down about it. She says, like, no, this is what I have to deal with. This is what I have to go through. And, I want people to know about it.
Yeah. So that's the other thing is when she talks to people, what type of response does she get? Or even you? Do they ask you what it is? Do they know what it is? Do they know someone who has it?
There's been a lot of different responses. There's been people that I never knew that. Or, I know somebody that had, or in the spring when we decided to do what we did and was reaching out to people. And if you ever saw her and Alex talked about it, that we held our own golf outing to raise money for you guys. And in reaching out to people to either play or sponsor or help out, we found a handful of people that, came back and said, "Oh, well, how did you pick that?" And I said, "Well, my wife has it and it's important to us." And the response was, "Oh, I was diagnosed a couple of years ago." And they had no idea about you and what you guys do. And when her and I talked before we actually got into it and did anything, to hear things like that, and even just to point somebody in your direction, even just for somebody to talk to, that was worth it.
Sure. Sharing common, we just had this conversation with the psychiatrist that was just here. Sharing common grounds has great value to it. Knowing that you're not alone and being able to have a decent conversation with someone who has the same empathy as to what you're going through is priceless.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you do when, Kelly, it's a bad day and she's just throwing it at you? This hurts, that hurts, I can't. Oh, no. Oh, it's me. I need it. Oh, no. What do you do? Because I feel like as patients, we take so much and dump it on our spot. I mean, Aletha's sitting here, okay, in the corner pretending she's bashful, okay? And I know that her husband has to be thoroughly abused with her because she'll go all day and then go home and start throwing it out there to the kids and him. This hurts, that hurts. I can't do this. I can't. It's not that she really doesn't want to make dinner or make the bed to do the laundry. Okay, she's done. All right, now she's giving it to all of them. And it's like, what are they supposed to do with it? What do you do with it?
It can be difficult. But for the most part, you just kind of step back and you kind of, at least for me, I kind of get her to just step back, take a breath, just, and I understand it. I know you're hurting. Sit down for a minute. Take a breath.
Does your husband tell you that, Aletha, to sit down? No, he doesn't. What he's
I'm hungry.
He says, I'm hungry.
It's but that's with a lot of things, though. You just, you just, and that it's just knowing the person you're with. Some people need to just be go, and honestly, that's been the hardest part with Kelly, because that's how she always was, and still tries.
Yeah,
because that's just
she's very fortunate because you are a gem. Okay, and with my husband Bill, he's a gem too, because when he sees that I'm dragging, or if I am coming home and it's time for dinner, he'll say, "I don't want you to make a big dinner. I don't want you to have to spend time doing the dishes. I don't want you to, and that doesn't happen that often. Typically, they are like Aletha's. I still want to eat, babe.
I was raised in a big family, bigger family, and even, my mom had health issues my whole life. I was a late in life kid. My parents were older as I grew up, but we were always taught to help out.
You do what you can.
And again, it comes out to that. You see that person's a little stressed. Hey, I'll make dinner. Or, hey, I got the dishes. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. I'll do this. Just sit down. You need to sit down.
What would you tell another husband sitting next to you? Run?
No, definitely not. No, just understand the person you're with and just pay attention to them and just try to feel and see what they're going through. And it's not an easy thing to do. It really is. But again, for me, it comes easy. I'm naturally like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't let things bother me. That's how I've always been. But I'm very good at seeing and understanding what bothers other people.
That's great. So tell us about the event you did for the Lupus Foundation.
We held a golf outing. It was May 17th, I think it was. We raised just shy of $4,000. In the first year, we did it in about 4 months, kind of spur of the moment. Let's do something where we can get a bunch of people involved and get awareness up. And, it was spurred mostly on by Kel. It was mostly supported by friends that I golf with regularly and a few other people that I know. And we decided pretty much that day that we are going to do it again. Next year, we came up with a date to May 23rd. And I'm sure they have our page linked to yours.
Where's it going to be?
It will be at Windmill Lakes in Ravenna.
And what's it going to cost?
I think we have it at $105 a person.
Mm-hmm.
Tentatively, I have to wait on pricing for next year from the golf course. Some things may go up or down. But we wanted to keep something relatively inexpensive to pull in as many people as we can.
So what do they get? They get what, 18 holes? Or
for that money, you get 18 holes in a cart. You get lunch, you get dinner, you get pop beer and domestic beer, pop and water for the day. I'm sure once we settle down and get everything going, everybody was ready. That was there is registered for a door prize.
Mm-hmm.
We had raffle baskets put together by family members, friends. We've actually already gotten a few things for next year's that are already at the house, which I got to find somewhere to put that, but it's okay. It's a good problem to have. And we have friends and companies and people that I know and companies that do it to sponsor holes, and we had quite a few that more than willingly did. Again, and it's not for some great prize, it's just a day to get out and have fun and make people think about things they normally wouldn't.
So the project he did, we call them third-party events. Okay. And I don't know if you're all aware of this, but it's a good time for me to share with you that the foundation is run primarily in the past, what did you call it? COVID mania. A previous speaker I was trying to say pre-COVID, post-COVID.
COVID phobic.
COVID phobic. We were able to fund the organization because the whole world was upside down. We were in crisis mode, Yeah.
That was right when we found out we had lupus. So it became even harder because
we were in crisis management, right? You couldn't get in front of a doctor. You couldn't get outside. You couldn't go to the drugstore. You couldn't.
4 months before the big hit.
Yeah.
COVID. And that made it difficult in the beginning too.
So during that timeline, and I don't know how we did this. It was by the grace of God, really, because it takes decades to get drugs through the FDA. But for whatever reasons, we had 3 new drugs come through the FDA during COVID, which is insanely miracle to me. It's an insane miracle. It took us, 40, 50 years to get been listed through the FDA. And it was the only real drug other than Plaquenil that we had. So through COVID, we had 3 drugs come through. So the organization was basically funded by pharmaceutical grants. Okay, that they were excited to get in front of our audiences. Okay. And then donor dollars just took a dump. And our walks, we had 3 walks across the country that raised in Ohio raised about $200,000. And then we had donor dollars. It all disappeared all at one time. Okay. And we still wanted to exist. So we exist on those funds and a line item from the state. The third part, and those are what we call restricted funds. Okay. It means that I'm going to tell a donor, please give me this money, please. And I promise I'll do this for you. And so everyone has a different promise, or what it's called is a deliverable.
Yes.
So one is like one paid for the podcast, one paid for the magazine, one paid for the summit, one paid for the website. They're restricted.
Yeah,
okay.
You can use it for what
I can use it for it. There was very little unrestricted funds. And I have to tell you, United Way, CFC, all the donor dollars, bequest, all kind of went those funds were being diverted to other needs, the COVID crisis, Black Lives Matters, all good events, but everybody forgot about us. All right. So the third party events is where an individual is taking it on with the support of the chapter, pulling their funds and their resources, funding the money, and raising dollars through their network. And I'll tell you, if you don't ask, you won't get.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And those funds, when they came to us, those are called unrestricted funds. That means that, okay, guess what? We can keep the lights on. Okay. Or guess what? I can pay for the support group leader, or I can pay for the rent, or things that weren't in those deliverables. So anybody wanting to do projects like that, we used to do a great deal of them, and even Facebook giving. We used to get, almost $30,000 from Facebook. That has changed. All right. I think we're down to 3,000. So this chapter lost a lot of revenue. We did let go of, we did not replace 2 to 3 staff people. All right. So
it can be hard.
It was hard. So we struggled and we survived, and we still did programming. Okay. So now we're back in the rain. Okay. We're trying to run full stream ahead. We're looking for donor dollars. And I'm sharing this with you because if anybody wants to do a third party event, because everybody has their own circle of friends and everybody has different talents and resources. Someone did a bowl-a-thon once. Someone else did a reverse raffle or a chili cook-off. I don't care. If you give us a dime, we're going to turn it into a quarter around here. All right. So we're very grateful. We do help push it off. I know Letha's son just did something. We're waiting for a report on him, no matter how big, no matter how small. But if you use our name, let's be accountable. Okay. Because we also have people who done fundraising events and never give us the money. Oh. Okay. I'm going to be all over you. Okay.
Believe me. Not that,
I'm going to tell you, not you. It happens.
Shots fired across the bow.
It happens. I have someone right now. I'm going. It's like, really? You raise money in our name and you won't give us the money? Stop.
Not that like it's we couldn't get that here.
Oh, bless your heart. So
we have your address. Steve,
we have your address. We know where to find you. We know where to find you.
Yeah.
Oh.
See what happens.
Hey, I did want to jump in as far as just getting involved and everything. Obviously you guys have done a great deal for us, since I've been here. But also, like, I just saw you guys at the Ox Roast, a couple weeks ago. You guys invited me to that. You guys were volunteering there. I know you were just talking about you do the feast in Little Italy and stuff. Why do you think, why is that important to you? And you and Kelly and just your friends, I noticed that in getting to know you guys volunteer your time to a lot of different causes, for a lot of different reasons or purposes or stuff, whether it's, serving beer like you did at the Ox Roast or cooking, or for us, actually raising money and stuff like that.
The Ox Roast from a couple weeks ago, that was when we moved out where we live. It was kind of, we didn't know anything about it. It's basically all it is it's a carnival. Out in Hillbilly Land. I'll say it that way. It's easy enough. It's food, it's games, it's rides, it's truck and tractor pulls. It's just a good time. And I was raised a Catholic. I don't really go to church. We would go out every year and we would hang out and we would drink. We would watch the truck pulls. We'd eat. We'd have fun. We took our kids there when they were little. And one year we won a prize on the raffle. And one of her friends at the time approached her about helping them run one of the booths or work in one of the booths. And she did that. And my brother started doing it because they actually went to the church. And when that ended, when they were done with that, friends of ours ran the beer booth, which is how we both ended up in the beer booth. And, one of it is we get to hang out with our friends. We get a solid weekend of just hanging out with our friends. We get to pour beer. We get to, people watch. Mm-hmm. But we raise money because all that money goes and helps the church operate.
Right.
It helps that church operate and do things that they do. Whether it's, donating clothes or having meals every month for those 40 hours, whatever the case may be, it helps them operate throughout the year. And, like I said, both of us, neither one of us think about ourselves first, no matter who we're talking about. And we, there was a long time ago, I probably did. I'm not that person anymore, whatever, long time ago. But it's just, there's something about making sure that other people are okay.
It's called service above self.
That, it's
you were waiting to say that, weren't you?
It's something that it just makes you feel good.
Purpose.
And it's not even so much as like telling people you're doing it. It's just doing it.
Yeah.
And when people find out I do stuff like that, like the golf outing. The golf outing was easy. It's golf. That's me. Everybody knows I golf. But volunteering at a church, and it's 3 days.
Yeah.
I can be there. I can serve there. I can help bring in some light up. And people look at me like, really? You just give your time? I'm like, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
So I don't know. So it goes back to Alex's thoughts here, because I know where he's coming from, because we've had this conversation. There's a few views that really rise well, okay, or better, or rise at all. Okay, to help make a difference. I know Letha's, I keep poking her over here, but her and her family have risen for years. They can't. Anytime there's a need, they raise their hand. Okay, but then there's other times where it's like pulling teeth trying to get people to help. So we're keeping it real here at the Lupus Foundation. This is a real conversation going on, and I want you to be aware of something, because you brought something up that's close to my heart. A recent report came out, the 2023 giving report came out. Okay. And I was blown away to see where the dollars were coming from this year. Now, the donor dollars have ticked up a little bit. Okay. But in the past, churches, religious organizations, faith-based organizations got the largest pool of money. They would get the largest pool of money. They're down 40%. 40% from last year. I don't know if people realize what tomorrow's impact will have on those facilities. Now, I know people can be real opinionated about some of these churches and organizations, but the reality is the most of them do great work. Yeah. They feed people in their community. They have outreach programs. They have prison ministries. They have food pantries. Yeah. They have household care. It's endless at some of the phenomenal work that they do. Could you imagine them being cut 40%, the impact this is going to have? So when you give this year, please, and they're saying they feel that it is because religions and these groups are politically polarized because of what's gone on in the last few years in general. So, and I can't totally disagree with that, but please, when you give, make sure you give, first of all right? Secondly, if you've been giving to a local church, please don't pull back on that. They're going to have huge impacts. And of course, if you have lupus, if you don't support us, I don't know who is gonna. Nobody else is gonna. And the other thing is, especially in the walks going on right now. So I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if I should be the one to share this with you. But Kelly and Steve, they're going to lead the Cleveland Walk this year. Okay. So every year we pick someone to lead the charge, and breaking news here at the Lupus Foundation.
My wife knows it's slow walk.
It could be, yeah, you may pass her up along the way, but because there is a hill. Alex promised her that there wouldn't be a hill. It's impossible down in the flats. Okay, so in the flats, Alex and I spent 3 hours yesterday down in the flats trying to figure out a route that was flat. Well, that's not going to happen. The reason they call it in the flats because it goes down into the hill. It's flat down there, but got to get back up. So there's going to be a hill. Okay. The whole time he kept saying, Kelly's not going to like the hill. All right.
As long as it's not like the one last year, we're okay.
Well, that one, we chose that one last year because it was long, but it was a gradual incline. But when we walked it, we were like, wait,
it's still.
Yeah, by the time we walked it, it was only like a week before the walk. So we can't change it now. But this was a lot harder than we anticipated it was going to be.
I was going to get out of the truck and try it. I thought, well, if I can make it, anybody can make it. And then I looked at Alex and no, I'm not going to do that. Not today. So we do have a hill. Okay, the walk is going to go on, and you and Kelly are leading the walk. Yay. Thank you very much.
Before we move on, I just wanted to go back to that giving report. For one very important thing.
What happened?
Did you say who was the number one demographic in giving?
Oh, Alex is his age bracket. Okay. They're not giving a lot, but they're giving. Okay. So what are you called again?
I am a millennial.
He's a millennial. So they're giving. All right. They're not giving a lot, but they are.
Also want to make it known that my giving back is getting tortured by all of you at this time. That is my sacrifice. I wish the entire world could see the face that will eat this week.
So, realistically, the older people are giving still, but they're giving to the arts. The reason they're giving to the arts is they feel that the younger generations don't see the value in them as much as they do, and they want to make sure they have sustainability. Okay. So yeah, it's an excellent report. If you want to see it, I have it. It's like 30 pages long. But more importantly,
it's pretty in-depth.
Give. Okay. We all, if we all gave $1, look how much further we would be. There's some people who don't give at all.
Well, and
okay.
Even that, like, a lot of people, and ourselves included, you can't necessarily give money, but like what we did,
give your time.
Yes, we gave our time, but our time helped and not pushed, but got other people to it.
That's right.
When we're at the church, somebody else could sit there and step in and do it. But if we can be there and do it, and then they can do something else, and that other person can do something else, then that's just one more way that, you can get other people to give money, do money. And, some people have said, like, oh, why do you volunteer at the church? I go back to the church. But it's not your church, or it's not my church is what they'll say. And so it's not mine either. I don't go here. I was going to come up here anyway. What's the difference? I can come up here and I can spend money and we can hang out and we can do. Or I can come up here and hang out all weekend, serve here, help these guys not be as busy and not, be less on them, and still spend money when I go get food or buy tickets for the rides for our grandson or whatever. And then you get both, because then you get somebody that's helping you make money and you get somebody to spend.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be there anyway.
The same thing in the walk is we have a real difficult time getting our constituents to donate. Okay. And we can say, okay, because they're sick, but all other health organizations ask their constituents to donate too. And we're not asking for $1. And when we do the walks are really peer to peer. Okay. So, maybe you can't afford to give, but maybe your cousin Betty Boop might be able to give, or maybe Betty Boop has a company that has matching gifts, or who do we know? All right. What's the matter? You don't like Betty Boop? Betty Boop is, I've been using Betty Boop for so long. I better come up with her sister Sally too. I don't know. But in order to get, you have to ask. Okay.
That's what it is. And it's, like I said, with the golf on, we did. It was like, I know we can put a little bit into it, what we can do, which, for us and for me and for the people I know, it didn't take very much.
Oh, bless your heart.
Of course, I've been there for years. I play there every week, and they, as soon as I walked up and said, "Yep, tell us a day. This is what it's going to be."
Well, we're very, very grateful for your efforts.
But, it's, hey, you can reach out, and I think we had 12 or 13, 14 people, or companies, depending how it was, sponsored a hole or sponsored lunch or sponsored the dinner, whatever the case was. And, that's the support on something like that you get that helps you and makes your time worth it, and giving your time to put it together worth it. And in the end, like I said, two things. It makes us feel better because we're doing something for you, but it also it lets people know that you're here.
Right. So we're really grateful.
A lot of people that we talked to,
they didn't know we were here, Alex.
What do you mean?
How could they not know we're here, Alex?
Thanks, Steve. That's going to kill her.
Okay, so Alex is my wingman in charge of digital marketing, which he feels is our strongest asset these days instead of print.
Even with that though, and this isn't just you, even just in general, a lot of it is so targeted, and if people aren't looking for it, they're not going to find it.
Well, and compared to print, and the reason being is cost. And this was actually a point I was going to bring up with something else, but mailing stuff to people is, I mean, they just went up again. It's $1. We just figured out because we were sending out some sympathy cards to some people literally a couple of days ago. It is $1 to mail a greeting card now, just for the postage, which doesn't seem like
depends
a lot.
on how heavy the card is.
When we're sending out 1,500 pieces of mail at $1 a piece. Yeah. So that's when compared. Yes, digital does make more sense.
So we used to send,
hold on.
Getting beat up on this.
No. But I do think, and we're trying to do it more and more, and I've said this more recently, is the actual strength of our organization is the community itself. Yeah. It's the Steves and the Kellys and,
Well, I want him to have triplets,
Rosie's
though.
down in Columbus.
Yeah.
But which is why we're trying to get back out there and face to face more. Yeah. And it doesn't always have to be we're asking you for money. It's just building that community. Exactly. And building that support. And then all of the digital stuff, particularly social media, piggybacks off of that. But that's what COVID did is we lost that connection, unfortunately, because we weren't doing in-person events. So, it's hard to come through the computer when we haven't seen them in 4 years, 5 years, face to face.
Or if it's somebody that in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years has, now found out.
Yeah, 100%.
This is now their path, and they don't know that because it hasn't been there. It hasn't been as visible.
Right.
And again, not just on, not just in online media, but just in general. And like I said, we were lucky that when we found out that she found you guys, even though it was right at the beginning of COVID, and like I said, just somebody to talk to who understood.
Yeah, she was hungry for companionship with other lupus people. Yeah.
Well, Kelly's not shy either.
No,
not at all. She was here the other day volunteering, and thank you. Time and material. Your time is precious. You can never get it back. Okay, so you guard your time, and the fact that she came and gave us sometimes really means a lot to us.
And then, on the days that she can,
when she can, right. So.
That's with anything.
Steve came after his day at work, or maybe he's on his lunch hour. I don't even know. We might be keeping him too long, but
I'm done.
You're done for the day. But, he is a lupus warrior together with his wife, and we're really grateful for all you've done thus far and for the relationship and the awareness, and we can't thank you enough. And you're a stellar husband, and I wish we could duplicate you. And I wish other husbands.
Might let you know that too.
Well, I wish other husbands and wife can rise to be supportive and empathetic. And if you need help with that, if you are a spouse or a companion or a child of age, of course, that is living with someone you love has lupus, and you need some help or some support or some guidance, let us help you.
Yeah.
Okay. We have patient navigators. We have a nurse on staff. We have 3 people in the office who actually live with lupus, and we're here to help. Yeah. We're here to help with resources for you and for your loved one. No one fights this fight alone. That's why there's an I in lupus.
There's no I in lupus.
There's no I in lupus. Strike that. I have cognitive dysfunction. You all know that. Okay. But what?
I just wanted to touch one more thing, though, about the going back to the third party stuff.
Yes.
Is we've had requests for a lot of walks at other cities lately. We do Cleveland, Columbus. We've told you before, we're desperately trying to get back to Cincinnati. But so we really focus on the 3 major cities. And we've had requests for walks in Akron, walks in, Chillicothe, or, whatever. That would be a good avenue for people, your Steves and Kellys of the world. Like if you want to organize a community walk, that is a third party event. And it's not that we don't want to do like a organizational walk like we do in the other cities. It's not that we don't want to do that in your community, but they take a tremendous amount of time and resources to plan. And we're trying to do programs and educational events. So if you want to do a community walk, in Akron or whatever city have you, we'll gladly help you, from the outskirts, and we'll send you materials and, stuff like that. But we just don't have the resources.
I don't have the bandwidth at this time.
And I mean, our finances are public record. I mean, we are not, you hear about it every so often, charities in the news where it's like, oh wait, 80% of their money gets spent on fundraising.
Out here.
Well, what the hell are they fundraising for then? They're fundraising to fundraise. We don't do that.
Yeah.
So like when we do the walks, I mean, we try to make them as fun and engaging as we can for people. But I mean, we try to stay usually like 30% is that target threshold. Ideally, we'd get it down to 20, but we're usually somewhere between 20 and 30% of what we spend on the actual walk versus what we raise. And that's because the other 80% goes to support you guys.
Locally.
Patients. Yeah.
Local people.
So, I mean, you're not going to read about the Ohio chapter in the news as far as, 80% of the money, I mean, if we do, none of us are here. That's for sure. We're all long gone.
And that's what makes it good. And that's another reason that she wants to do as much as she can, because that high majority goes to help other people.
Yeah.
We do.
You guys, with whoever was here before, have been such a help to her in just figuring out, okay, this is okay. Now I understand. Somebody else understands me, and it's helped me too, because, I didn't know anything about this.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to end this up, wrap it up. We're hoping to have a robust, restful weekend. At least I am. That's a dream of mine. I want to thank you all for coming to my Lupus living room. I want to thank Steve for joining in, Aletha in the background over here, and Alex in the corner. And I really could use a hug. I miss everybody. I want y'all to start coming back out. Okay. It's kind of safe for you. Please come to the walks, either Columbus or Cincinnati. Give us I'm sorry, not Cincinnati this year, Cleveland and Columbus. I'd like to see you there. Your support is needed. And the fact that you can mingle with other fellow Lupians, trust me, you're going to have a great time. Okay, y'all have a great time. Thanks again. Thanks for coming to my Lupus living room. Thank you, Steve, and tell your lovely wife I said hi, and we look forward to seeing you at the walk. Bye-bye. Leading it. What part?